Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Wild Moments brought to you by explore.org. My name is Taylor, and of course, I'm joined by none other than Ali, who seemed to be racing around my house for some reason.
It's just that I realized that I was sitting in the wrong place and I thought I could do it quick enough and then something fell but here I am. So hello everyone. I'm sorry for the delay and for looking like a headless chicken. I try my best not to look like that, but I feel like that's me 90% of the time.
It's hood sprayed and it's humid, so we all look like that. But it has been such wonderful weather. We're so spoiled as we are almost about to enter spring. I hope for you, what if it was winter?
I know, it's summer. They're coming into autumn now.
It's summer going into autumn. There we go. Hopefully it's not too chilly and you're enjoying warm weather. But we have got a lot of people that have joined us today. We've got Mr. H UAE. You've mentioned a comment. I'm not going to, but hello to you. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Zygote, you said, hello, Taylor. Hello, Ali. Aussie Jan, you're here again today. Wonderful. Good afternoon, which is a much needed coffee break for you. Wonderful. I'm drinking pineapple kefir. Is that how I say it, Ali?
Yes,
it's like
I think so.
Sort of. Anyways, trying to be healthy. And then Dear NC, good morning, Taylor and Ali. And you're ready for the show with your coffee, which is great. Karu, we'll never know how to say that again. I'm really, really sorry, but you've also said hello. I'm glad that there's so many of you that have joined us this afternoon. And of course, it's always good to have a beverage. Ali, Jan says hello to you.
Okay, I'm sure she also says hello to you too.
You did to make it.
Thank you for passing on the message. I appreciate it. But talking about summer, before I forget, because these are important news in the wilderness, I saw my first yellow-billed kite on the way to you today, which I was very excited about. It means the migratory species are coming back. The yellow-billed kites in South Africa are generally the first ones to arrive. Sorry, that very high-pitched noise was my puppy. He's trying to behave, but he's a puppy. He's in training. And the kites are here. So I wonder what'll come next.
I don't know, Wahlberg's eagles, maybe?
I think potentially, yeah. It's still a long time until the woodlands start coming back, but definitely keep an eye out on the cameras in southern Africa. Maybe you'll see one somewhere out there. It would be nice if they were around.
I feel like it's so many of the birds, the migratory birds of prey that tend to get you a bit quicker. Oh, we've got a few more. Gators, you said hello, and Trish Vissop, hello everybody. Greetings from Poland. You love the faces of Ali and I before the show started. What were we doing? That's terrifying.
I was running around, so
you running around?
You were probably making fun of me. So.
Probably making fun of Ali. And then Amber, you have also just joined us and you're excited for the show. Well, I think we should get straight in it. Otherwise, Ali and I will talk all day long. So let's head to the first clip, which is cuteness to start the afternoon.
Well, I don't know if that's cuteness, but that's sexy. And that's rage.
Let's see why she was behaving like that, though. Perhaps there's a little surprise that's going to come our way. Oh, there we go.
It's so cute.
That is the tiniest little lion cub ever.
Oh, shame. Doesn't want to be out and about.
I don't blame it. Life's hard. That is the obvious reason as to why that lioness reacted the way she did to the male. She didn't particularly want him to be around. Oh my goodness, but it's a feisty little cub.
I wonder if this is not when this female or the actual mother of this cub is introducing the cub onto the other pride members or onto the male, because she seems to be reprimanding it quite a bit. I don't know. I'm assuming the one with the color is the mother because she's the one that went after. Oh, no, that's wrong. This is the mother, it seems. She seems she's got. Oh, no, that's the one with the.
She's definitely got swollen mammary.
Am I imagining things? I only saw one female with a color, but now every female I talk about has a color. So
Yeah, I think there might be a couple, but I'm just having a look here. This was at Tembe. It was about 3 weeks ago. Oh no, this lion cub had been seen before about 3 weeks ago. It is the lioness. Her name is F70. And we've only seen the one cub, which is quite interesting. Maybe she had more. Potentially, she could have also
oh,
lost them, unfortunately.
okay, no, no, no. So more than one female is colored. Thank goodness. I thought I was losing my mind now.
That's okay, Ali. I think
So
we
you
lost our
do.
minds a long time ago.
Well, but not in public, Taylor. This is a problem.
This is a feisty little cub, and it's obviously quite difficult when they are young like this. And if there is only one cub in the pride, you have to play with the adults. I suppose it's a bit unfair, and but I suppose little lions are tough and they kind of bounce around. My goodness.
But good in this little cub for making the adults play with it. It's just really not being deterred by their attempts to just like swat him or anything. It's still like, nope, you guys will play with me because I say so.
Oh my gosh, it just got sat on. Let's see if the little one is going to go up to the male lion. That's always one of my favorite things, is just to see how young cubs are in absolute awe of the big male lion, as we all are.
I love it when they rub heads with one another.
So, Kaoru, you're asking why is the cub so dark? It was quite interesting. Right at the beginning, it did look so dark, but now if we look at it in this scene, look how much lighter in coloration it is. I wonder if it was maybe rolling in a bit of dirt, or it's just the infrared light that is creating that illusion. What do you think, Ali?
I think maybe just the angle. It did seem a lot darker, but could have just been lions are also differently colored animals. So it could be maybe that the cub is slightly more tanned, and that you can see it during the light, during the day, which we can't really see here. Or it can just be that, it was just rolling on something like his father is showing off now, and then that's why it looks a little bit dirtier.
Absolutely. So, Zygote, you've said discipline and a question mark. Absolutely. So, just like in humans, I'm sorry to anthropomorphize right now, but discipline is super important amongst animals, and we see it with the various species too. Obviously, something like, for example, lions and elephants, they're very social and they do tend to reprimand their youngsters. Even baboons, actually, is probably a really good example of that. It's important that they understand, where they stand within the pride. Oh,
So
Bob's
sweet the
just
way
joined us.
knows who its mom
Sorry.
was and the way he was lying. Sorry.
No worries. I definitely think it's just the light. And Karu, what you should also remember is, because, like what Ali said, it could be a slightly more tan color, but when they are young, they're covered in dapples too, to aid with camouflage. And sometimes the ridge on their back could be a little bit darker, but I think maybe it's shadows.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
a visual effect. I don't think it's particularly darker or a black cub or anything. It's just
wouldn't that be amazing? A
circumstantial.
melanistic line. We can only
Can
hope
you
and
imagine?
dream.
Oh,
So, Andy, you said both of the lionesses are now collared, and the question came up now: why is the cub so dark? So, yeah, so there we go. We've just chatted about a blah, 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 different. What am I trying to say? Why can't I say it?
coloration, different colors, different reasons. I'm trying to read
Different.
your mind, but
It's I don't know what's wrong with me. I didn't drink enough water again today. So quite fascinating, but really really nice to see the social interactions. However, between a pride, and I think you're right, Elliot, with the way they were all behaving, it's kind of excitement, but also they're typically quite rough too when new cubs are introduced to the pride. So and with the way that lioness reacted to the male as well. Mbulu is saying, "Ladies, you are right. We can only hope."
she is.
Oh, it's because my dog Tucker won't play with them. Anyways, let's go across to the next clip. It's quite happy, and get your dancing shoes ready. Uh-huh.
Almost looks like an epileptic bat.
Yeah. Look at even the little legs are going. That's definitely a male bat, as you can see.
I can only hear the Beatles song Twist and Shout. It seems like it's dancing to like a 70s song, 80s, 70s rhythm song.
I'm not familiar. Ali, do you care to sing it for us, or do
No,
at
I can't sing
least
because
make
it's
the
gonna
sound?
rain.
We need the rain.
Or maybe the newer version will be Taylor Swift's Shake It Off. It kind of seemed like it was doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Bat
Oh, there we
twerking
go.
with its head.
So this is actually quite awesome to see. This is in the Kruger National Park under the Shalati Bridge, which is not too far away from Skukuza. And there are over 40 species of bats within the Kruger. I'm trying to see which species of bat it is. I think it's one of the free-tailed bats. You see how it has a little tail. It's got
Yeah.
quite big ears too. It's difficult because you can't really see coloration though. So we can. It could be the. I don't know if it's the little free-tailed bat that looks quite big, but obviously it's kind of maybe an Angolan free-tailed bat. One of the
I
two.
would agree with three-tailed bat. I think that's
Yeah.
potentially as far as it can go. Sorry, my screen seems to have
I had the
pixelated a
same
bit.
thing. No, I think that was just a little bit of a technical problem, but no worries. I think it was nice to see the little dance of the bats. But in case you were wondering why they do that, is just like in the natural world with a lot of different animals, a courtship display is very important. And a lot of the bats won't just mate with one female, they mate with multiple females. So I reckon that's what he was doing. He looked quite excited as well. So definitely trying to get the attention of a few individuals. And I'm assuming that there must be so many bats that are just all taking refuge underneath the bridge.
You know, I find it interesting, and I don't know, maybe, and this is just me putting it out there, but I find it fascinating that really mammals and other creatures, they don't really do very intricate displays in the same way. I mean, they'll stand and mark their territory and advertise their physique and so on. But it's interesting how aerial creatures like bats and birds do these very intricate dances just to attract the females. So I don't know, I find that it's an interesting correlation about just aerial creatures doing that to attract
Well,
partners.
we know it's not their looks that they're using to attract mates.
Shame, Taylor. Bats also have
Some
rights.
some bats are really cute. These ones, however, not so much. So Brigid McKinney, you've said you love bats, and Kaoru, you've also said bats are cute. Bats are so important for the ecosystem. Obviously, I was just teasing. I also really enjoy watching bats, especially the insect-eating bats, because you hear them quite often sort of using their infrasounds to try and find, not infrasounds, echolocation. Why did I say infrasounds? The echolocation to find insects, which is really, really amazing. But they catch so many mosquitoes, and we need all the bats here in Hoedspruit because once summer comes around, it's crazy. And I read once that one single insect-eating bat, the Microchiroptera sort of family, they can eat over 100,000 in one go. Pretty amazing.
Must have them. It's the only reason I must say, because as you were saying, they're everywhere in Hoedspruit, and they tend to. So if you see the roof above me, a lot of the times they'll nest in roofs like that, or they find a way in between the roofs and sort of where the ceiling is. And the only reason why we tolerate them and we love them is because when the summer comes, they already live in your house, so they keep your mosquito population at bay, which is quite handy, especially in areas of malaria. So,
Which
not that it's having bats is going to prevent me from having malaria, but definitely helps in, keeping all those horrible flying things at bay.
absolutely. And then the some of the fruit bat species are the largest or the most prevalent pollinator of baobabs. And I'm sure there's a couple of other trees out there that flower at night, which is cool. Of course, there's going to be insects like moths and other nocturnal arthropods that will definitely assist in that. But crazy to think that bats are huge pollinators. I'm sure the fruit bats also play a very important role in seed dispersal.
I love
So
them.
not Yeah, I also am. Kaoru, you'd like to see that. Which would you like to see? All the bats? Them dancing, probably them dancing. I've never seen it before, but it's always so dark, and I don't like to put, we don't normally put lights on bats. It's not particularly nice, especially when they're flying around. Definitely avoid doing that. And then you've also said that bats are so cool as long as they're not following a person. Well, I was always told when I was younger, and I've always had pretty long hair. My mom would say, "Come inside, Taylor. It's dark, and a bat's gonna fly into your hair and get stuck in it." And obviously, I believed that for a very long time. I'm sure that happened to one person once, and then obviously it's now become a life's tale.
But it does sound like the kind of story your mom would love saying to you to keep you at bay. So
Absolutely. It's necessary, I suppose. Anyways, cool to see the bats. But let's head across and have another clip. It's quite an interesting interaction and not a very friendly one.
Oh,
Can you
it
all see
almost seemed like it was
crocodile?
going to stand on its tail.
I almost kicked it. Oh my gosh, there's not a breath of wind. How amazing is the reflection of the elephant? It's like really just so wonderful to also just hear the natural sound. It's interesting how that elephant decided it wasn't happy with the crocodile when it first arrived. That's not a bird.
That is a four-legged creature.
Got a bit of a fright as the crocodile moved down the bank and into the water. See big head shake. Keep out of here.
It's funny how elephants feel like, that's their move. They're just, instead of shouting at things, I'm going to shake my head at the crocodile that's in the water and then it'll know. And the crocodile couldn't be bothered.
I think that crocodile was worried that it was going to get stepped on.
I thought for a second there that the elephant was thinking about it, and I was always holding my breath, like, oh, is it going to do it? Is it really going to do it? But then maybe not. But crocodiles can be dangerous to elephants as well. I mean, on more than one occasion, I'm sure you've seen it. It doesn't happen often, but there are photos of crocodiles just like going up and then biting the trunks of the elephants when they put them in the water. So
yeah,
I actually... In tails, yes. There was a footage a couple of years ago in the Sabi River, Taylor, where you and I used to work, of a guy that actually caught this whole thing on camera on the photos. The elephant just went down, went to drink, and then as it's put its trunk up, and then as it lifted it, like the crocodile came with it. So it's got these photos of like the trunk going up and half of a crocodile sticking out of the water. They were pretty cool.
Oh my goodness, that is pretty insane. I think I've said this so many times. Only time I've seen it once, but it was elephants crossing one of the channels of the Zambezi River, and a crocodile grabbed hold of an adult elephant's tail, a female. A lot of trumpeting, a lot of aggression, as you can imagine. I think it was quite a young crocodile. It didn't look particularly big, maybe just excited and thought it would bite off a bit more than it could chew. So learned the hard way.
But also the optimism. Like, sometimes you wonder out this predator is like, cool, I'm going to go buy the tail of this animal who's ginormous, probably 10 times, if not more, than my weight, but I'm going to try anyway. Just for fun, just to see what happens. Talk about sense of humor.
Yeah, they actually are. I bet, especially highly intelligent animals like elephants, they must have a sense of humor because they cause the most trouble in the bush. They chase everything. Remember last week on Wild Moments, we had the small herd of elephants trying to chase the wildebeest,
Mhm.
which was quite interesting. But that wildebeest
I
didn't.
think the sense of humor there was the wildebeest. It was like, no, run, elephants! I'm going to charge at you, and then all of the elephants just had a bit of a fright and
A
didn't know how
big
to react.
No, not at all. But it's gosh, we see quite a bit of interaction between hippos and crocodiles quite often. Again, I say this all the time. One of my favorite things I've ever seen on the Mara River is little hippos chasing after crocodiles or trying to bite their tails, which is so great. It's always very
So
entertaining.
sweet.
It is very sweet. Not for the crocodile, but the little hippo, I'm sure, feels quite brave and strong afterwards.
Of course they do. You know.
Rolling Trouble. Oh, shame. You've just said a happy belated birthday to me. Thank you so much. I'm like the worst person when it comes to celebrating birthdays. And you know what my favorite part about my birthday this year is not one person sang happy birthday to me. And anybody listening, please don't sing that song to me. I cringe. I get very uncomfortable and awkward. So that was the highlight of my birthday. It's a
It's the
ridiculous thing,
little
I
things
know.
in life.
It is. It's the small joys when you are now. When I can't say that I'm 30 years old anymore. I turned 31. Can you believe that? Gosh.
Yeah,
Okay, we
I
have got one more clip, Ali. How have we gone through this so quickly? And it's one of Ali's favorite animals. It's a couple of honey badgers in Kenya.
It's amazing how many honey badgers we've been seeing in Aldonio lately. Hello.
Oh my gosh! Look at all three of them lined up.
That is so amazing.
Seems like two of them are quite happy to drink with one another, but what's the third one doing? Is that not a mom and two youngsters?
I don't know. I mean, it could be. It's just very odd to see three of them.
But remember, I also had a sighting. My first sighting ever
Yeah.
was.
No, but what I'm saying is, if it is, it's really cool because it's a very special
Oh
sighting.
no, Ali! Look there. The one on the left is definitely a male. I just saw the scrotum.
Oh,
Look,
yes, you are
you see
right.
that?
I think the
And
one
I'm
in the
just
middle might also be.
yes, another male. Okay, let's see the individual on the right now. Oh, look, scent marking. You see that? That's so cool.
That is amazing. I wonder, maybe it's a female that's attracted to potential mates. Let's see.
Yeah,
You know?
that's what we need. We need this
No,
one to turn.
no,
No,
it's a boy.
third.
What?
So bizarre. So obviously, we quite often talk about animals, putting their differences behind them, especially when drinking at a common water point, and they are very few and far between at Old Donyo. Um, uh, but and look, one's gone to the right and one's gone to the left. Ali, what are the chances that there could be like subadult males sort of dispersing and trying to find their place in the ecosystem?
I think it's a possibility, definitely, but it's still, I don't know enough about young male honey badgers associating like that. I haven't actually heard anything about it because you generally learn that they disperse and then they go and do their own thing. But I suppose, like all creatures, they are used to being with their parents, so they have a level of sociability or of tolerance to other ones, especially if they're younger. I suppose as they get older, then they start losing that interest in hanging out with other creatures. But it could be, as you said, that it was just circumstantial. There's not a lot of water and they all happen to find themselves there, or they could just be sort of bumped into each other and they've been hanging out. I don't know. It's a
That's
very special thing to see three males. Like it's generally more common to see the female and maybe two youngsters or an adult, but three males I have not heard of.
No, neither have I. I also
Yeah.
can't say I've ever read anything. I'm going to delve into this and see if I can find anything more on male honey badger behavior. But this is, again, something to keep out for. So if you are watching the Old Donyo camera regularly, and especially in the evenings, take note. And they're quite easy to sex, as you could see as they turned around and lifted their tails slightly. You can very easily see the scrotum. So yeah, if you see that again, let us know. And yeah, so Kaaro, you've said, aren't they a family? One is smaller. That's what we thought initially, but then we saw that there were 3 males, and the fact that they all went in different directions as well, just obviously suggests that they, again, maybe just came around a common center. Mara, you've said they're all 3 male, in like exclamating about it. Absolutely, we're just as shocked. And Zygo, you said they're just pals, but potentially. I think so little is known about the social interactions of honey badger because we don't have enough sightings of them. And typically when they see people or a light, they move in the opposite direction. But again, because the camera is still, it's using infrared light, they go about and do things I suppose, just do whatever they want.
That's amazing, though.
Yeah, I can't
Taylor,
believe.
I will have to jump off the ride, but I will leave you in the company of the honey badgers, which is pretty amazing. So sorry, everyone. I do have to leave 5 minutes early today, but this is the last time I have to leave early. So I'm glad we saved the best for last. And then we'll see you guys pretty soon, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, Ali. Right, you're all
Bye,
stuck
everyone.
with me now. So, obviously, I don't know if we can go back a little bit to just as the 3 of them are arriving again. I want to just have a look, and let's just dissect this a little bit and see what they kind of get up to, because we'll just have a look. So there's one that goes in, and then obviously the 2 others approach. Look at the one on the left-hand side immediately staring. There, did you hear that sound too? There was a bit of a scuffle. And I do agree that the one in the middle that's drinking at the moment does look a little bit smaller. So perhaps that is a younger individual. But it's kind of hard to gauge. A lot of vocalizations. I've never heard this before. Just kind of saying, leave me alone, which would typically be, I would imagine, a youngster would do something like that. Did you see the one that was in the middle that's now on the right? It's still turning and shouting, but the other, they've moved off. So both of the 2 on the left are scent marking. And it's interesting that they're scent marking in the same spot. So they've got these anal glands, and that's basically creating an anal pasting. So that's what you're seeing there. Rolling Trouble, you said maybe teenage boys. That's what I suggested. I thought perhaps it's 3 younger individuals that, have crossed paths. But okay, they're the one on the left is true. I do think that one of them looked a bit younger than the other 2. The fact that they're also all scent marking, very young individuals, I doubt that they'd be scent marking so early. But again, there's so little that's known about honey badger and interactions that happen after dark. I'm going to have to really go and look and see if this is something that's been seen regularly, and maybe there'll be someone that can kind of offer some insight to actually what is really happening. That was fascinating. Yeah, I've never seen that before. I've only ever seen female with 1 youngster, and that's kind of it. But let's talk about animals that are super territorial. Let's talk about black rhino for an example. It's quite often seen in Namibia, where a lot of black rhinos, males, females, and youngsters, will come down and drink, and normally be quite tolerant to one another. So again, it could either be subadults or 1 subadult and 2 males, and don't necessarily feel threatened by one another, or it could just be it's a common point. There isn't a lot of water around. They happen to be there at the same time, and so they just sort of drank. Kauru, you commenting on their communication sounds. Yeah, it's so in Afrikaans, a honey badger is actually called a rattle, which describes the rattling sound. But they normally only do that when they are either frightened or as an aggressive noise to maybe ward off potential predators. I can't make the sound, but it's quite a harsh, loud sound. But what those honey badgers were doing now was sort of very soft, almost contact communication. And there was one that was kind of saying, "Hey, leave me alone, like don't get too close," like a little bit nervous, and obviously a bit more submissive. Personally, that's what I kind of see than the other two who weren't making as many sounds. Interesting. Hopefully I'll see you next week. Sorry, I had to think what I was about to say, and I'll do some research and then potentially bring it up again. Hopefully we see more honey badgers. But a big thank you for all of the questions and comments, and for those of you that just sat quietly and watch, that's also okay. I hope you all have a great day or an evening or an afternoon, and we will see you again soon. Cheerio!